My name is Ethan Cole. I'm 28, and until that night, I believed my life was stable. I had a decent job, a small apartment, and a woman I loved for 4 years. I thought that was enough. Sophie, I called from the kitchen. Do you want pasta or a takeout? She walked in, smiling. Pasta. And don't burn it this time. I burned it once. You burned it twice. I laughed and pulled her close. You still stayed? Of course I stayed, she said softly. Where else would I go? I believed her. Ryan Miller was coming over later. He was my best friend since college. Your brother from another mother, he always said. When he arrived, he slapped my shoulder. You look too happy, man. It's suspicious. I'm allowed to be happy. Sophie grinned. He's thinking about proposing. That's why. Wait, what? Ryan looked at me. You serious? Maybe, I said, pretending to shrug. Sophie's eyes sparkled. Maybe. Relax, I said. I said maybe. Ryan laughed. About time. She's put up with you long enough. We ordered drinks. We joked. We talked about work. Everything felt normal. Safe. I remember thinking this is what a good life looks like. Around 10, Ryan left. Sophie went to shower. I cleaned up the living room, humming to myself. That's when I heard a knock on the door. I opened it to see Mrs. Langford, our neighbor from across the hall. She was in her late 60s, always watching everything. Ethan, she said, adjusting her glasses, your car alarm went off earlier. It did. I frowned. I didn't hear anything. It was brief, she replied. About an hour ago. I looked through my window. Oh, thanks for telling me. I have a CCTV camera pointing toward the parking area, she added casually. If you want, you can check it. Just in case. I chuckled. I doubt it's anything serious. She smiled. Still, better safe than sorry. After she left, I hesitated. Sophie was still in the shower. I grabbed my jacket and walked across the hall. Mrs. Langford led me inside. Come. It's all recorded here. She sat me in front of her small monitor. The alarm was around 9:15. I checked my phone. 9:15. Ryan had left at 9. That time is fine, I said. She pressed a few buttons and stepped aside. I'll give you privacy. The screen showed the parking area outside our building. My car sat under the streetlight. At first, nothing happened. I leaned back. See? Probably a cat. Then I saw movement. The front door of our building opened. I leaned forward. Sophie stepped out. My chest tightened. Why is she outside? She looked around, then walked toward the parking area. A second later, someone followed her. Ryan. I blinked. No, that doesn't make sense. They stood near my car. Too close. Sophie touched his arm. Ryan laughed at something she said. I felt my throat go dry. Maybe they're just talking, I whispered to myself. Then Ryan stepped closer. Too close. His hand slid to her waist. My heart slammed against my ribs. No. Sophie didn't move away. She looked up at him, and then he kissed her. Not a mistake. Not an accident. A slow, familiar kiss. I froze. My fingers dug into the armrest. I couldn't breathe. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this, I muttered. Maybe it's the angle. But the angle didn't lie. She kissed him back. His hands moved like they knew her body, like they had done this before. I felt heat rise in my chest, then cold all over my skin. On the screen, Sophie laughed softly and leaned her forehead against his chest. Ryan brushed her hair behind her ear. That wasn't guilt. That wasn't confusion. That was comfort. I stood up suddenly, knocking the chair back. Mrs. Langford rushed in. Is everything all right? I forced my voice steady. Yes. I saw someone near my car. Do you need a copy? My mind screamed yes. Yes, I said quietly. Please. She handed me a small flash drive 10 minutes later. I hope it's nothing serious. I nodded. Yeah, me too. I walked back to my apartment like I was walking through water. My legs felt heavy. Sophie was sitting on the couch when I entered. Her hair was damp. She smiled. Where did you go? Mrs. Langford said my car alarm went off. Oh, she said lightly. That's weird. I stared at her. Her face looked normal. Calm. Beautiful. Did anything happen? She asked. I swallowed. No, probably nothing. She patted the seat beside her. Come sit. I sat down slowly. She rested her head on my shoulder. You're quiet, she whispered. Just tired. She kissed my cheek. You work too much. My mind replayed the footage. her hand on his chest, his lips on hers. I felt something crack inside me, but I kept my arm around her. I kept pretending. Inside, I heard my own voice whispering, "This can't be real." But deep down, I already knew. Something was very, very wrong. I barely slept. I kept seeing that screen every time I closed my eyes. When morning came, I was still staring at the ceiling. Sophie walked out of the bedroom, tying her hair. "You're awake already?" "Yeah," I said. She leaned down and kissed my cheek. "You look tired." "I didn't sleep much. Work stress." Something like that. She smiled at me, soft and warm, like she always did. I studied her face, searching for guilt. I found nothing. "You're staring," she said playfully. "Am I? Did I grow horns overnight?" I forced a laugh. "No." I almost reached for my phone. I almost opened the video. I almost said, "Explain this." But I didn't. Instead, I kept my voice light. "Did Ryan come over last night?" She blinked once. "No. Why would he?" My heart thudded. "Just asking." She frowned slightly. "That's random. I thought I heard something." "You're imagining things," she said, brushing past me. "Maybe you need more sleep." That lie hurt more than the video. The kiss on the screen was betrayal. But this was performance. She poured coffee and handed me a cup. "You're acting weird." "Am I?" "Yes." "Talk to me." I looked at her. "If something was wrong, you'd tell me, right?" She held my gaze. "Of course I would." I nodded slowly. "Good." She smiled again. "You're overthinking." Maybe I was. Maybe I wanted to believe that. After she left for work, I sat alone with the silence. My hands shook slightly as I replayed the clip on my phone. Same angle. Same kiss. Same truth. "I'm not crazy," I whispered to myself. Later that afternoon, I met Ryan at our usual cafe. He waved as I walked in. There he is, the future married man. "Don't start," I muttered. He grinned. "Why?" "Cold feet. Just tired." "You look stressed, man." "I didn't sleep." "Because of work? Or because you're scared to commit?" He joked. I stared at him. He looked normal. Relaxed. Like he hadn't kissed my girlfriend hours earlier. "You came over last night?" I asked casually. He shook his head. "No." "What?" "Just checking." "Did something happen?" "My car alarm went off." "Oh." He shrugged. "Maybe someone tried to steal it." "Maybe." He sipped his coffee. "You're acting strange today." "I'm fine." "Does Sophie know you're this moody?" "Don't drag her into it." He laughed. "Relax, I'm kidding." I clenched my jaw. I wanted to slam my phone on the table. I wanted to shout, "I saw you." But I didn't. Instead, I asked, "You'd never lie to me, right?" He raised an eyebrow. "Where is this coming from?" "Just answer." He leaned back. "You're my brother." "Why would I lie?" "Because you already did." "I don't know," I said quietly. He studied me for a moment. "If something's bothering you, say it." "Nothing's bothering me." "Then stop looking at me like I killed your dog." I forced a small smile. "Sorry." He shook his head. "You need a vacation." Maybe I needed the truth. When I got home, my phone buzzed. It was my sister, Lily. "Hey," she said when I answered. "Are you alive?" "Last time I checked." "You sound off." "I'm fine." "Don't lie to me," she replied immediately. "I know your fine voice." I sighed. "It's nothing. It's never nothing. Just work. You hate your job, but this isn't job hate. This is something else." I hesitated. "Why do you think that?" "Because you sound hurt." Her words hit too close. "I'm not hurt." "Did Sophie do something?" "No." "Did Ryan?" I swallowed. "Why would you ask that?" "I don't know. You two have been weird lately." I felt my chest tighten. "We're fine." "Ethan," she said softly, "what's going on with you?" I looked around the apartment. Sophie's shoes were by the door. Her jacket hung on the chair. Everything looked normal. "I just need time," I said. "Time for what?" "To think. About life." She sighed. "You're scaring me." "I'm not trying to." "Then talk to me." I closed my eyes. I wanted to tell her. I wanted someone on my side. But if I confronted Sophie and Ryan without solid proof beyond that one clip, they could twist it. They could call it a misunderstanding. "I can't," I said finally. "Why not?" "Because I need to be sure." "Sure of what?" "That I'm not losing my mind." She was quiet for a moment. "You're not crazy." "I hope not." "Whatever it is," she said, "don't handle it alone." "I won't." After we hung up, I sat on the couch and stared at the wall. They both lied. Easily. Smoothly. That meant it wasn't their first lie. If I confronted them now, they'd deny everything. They'd turn it on me. No, I needed more. More footage. More proof. More truth. I picked up my phone and texted Mrs. Langford. Can I check older recordings? She replied almost instantly. Of course. I set the phone down and took a deep breath. I won't explode, I told myself. Not yet. If they thought I was blind, I would stay blind. If they thought I trusted them, I would keep smiling. But inside, I had already decided something important. I would not confront them without proof. I would dig deeper, and this time I would not look away. I knocked on Mrs. Langford's door again that evening. She opened it slowly. Back already? I need to see older recordings, I said. From the past few weeks. She studied my face. Is this about last night? Please, I whispered. She stepped aside. Come in. I sat in front of the monitor. My heart pounded so loud I thought she could hear it. What dates? She asked. Start 2 weeks ago. She rewound the footage and pressed play. At first, nothing unusual happened. Cars came and went. People walked past. Then I saw it. The building door opened. Sophie stepped out. My stomach twisted. Not again. Ryan followed her seconds later. I felt my throat tighten. Keep playing. They stood near the same spot. The same streetlight. The same shadows. Ryan pulled her close. She didn't resist. I clenched my fists. Maybe that's the only time. Mrs. Langford stayed silent. She skipped forward 3 days. The same pattern. Door opens. Sophie walks out. Ryan joins her. This time they kissed longer. My vision blurred. No. She skipped ahead another week. Again and again. Multiple nights. Multiple lies. Secret meetings. I felt like someone was peeling my skin off slowly. I think that's enough, Mrs. Langford said gently. No, I replied. I need to see it. She hesitated, but let it continue. Each clip felt heavier than the last. It wasn't random. It wasn't one mistake. It was routine. I stood up abruptly. The chair scraped against the floor. Are you okay? She asked. I nodded even though I wasn't. Thank you. Do you want copies? Yes. She handed me another flash drive. I walked back to my apartment, feeling hollow. Inside, I locked the door and leaned against it. This isn't real, I muttered. But it was. I walked to the bedroom and punched the wall. Pain shot through my hand. I punched it again. What? I shouted. My knuckles split open. Blood smeared against the paint. I slid down to the floor, breathing hard. My phone buzzed. It was Sophie. Where are you? She texted. Home, I replied. I'll be back soon. I stared at my bleeding hand. I didn't even feel it properly. When she walked in later, she smiled like always. Hey, she said. Why are you sitting in the dark? I'm thinking. She stepped closer. About what? I stood up slowly. Are you happy with me? She blinked. What? Are you happy with me? I repeated. Of course I am, she said quickly. Why are you asking weird questions? Just answer. I did answer. Are you sure? I asked. She frowned. Ethan, what's going on? I just want to know if there's something you're not telling me. She crossed her arms. Like what? Anything. She sighed. You're scaring me. Am I? Yes. You've been distant all day. Maybe I'm just tired. She stepped closer and touched my arm. If I did something wrong, tell me. My heart pounded. Say it. Show her. End it. But I held back. You'd tell me if you were unhappy, right? I asked. Of course, she replied instantly. She didn't hesitate. She didn't look guilty. That scared me more than anything. She kissed my cheek. You're overthinking again. I forced a nod. She walked to the kitchen. Did you hurt your hand? I glanced down. Blood had dried along my knuckles. I hit the wall, I said. Why would you do that? Frustration. About what? Work. She shook her head. You need to talk instead of punching things. I almost laughed. If only she knew. The next morning at work, Daniel noticed my hand immediately. What happened to you? He asked. I slipped. That's not a slip, he said. That's a punch. I shrugged. Bad night. He leaned against my desk. Want to tell me about it? No. You look like someone died. Feels like it. He stayed quiet for a moment. Whatever it is, don't let it destroy you. I let out a slow breath. What if it already is? He studied me. Then fight back. Against who? Against whatever's eating you. I looked at my bruised knuckles. Some fights aren't simple. They never are, he replied. But losing yourself won't fix anything. I nodded, but inside I felt like glass cracking. On my lunch break, I replayed the footage again in my car. Same nights, same lies. I whispered to myself, she's acting perfectly normal. That was the worst part. She laughed with me, slept beside me, talked about our future, and then stepped outside to meet him. I wasn't just betrayed. I was replaced in secret. When I got home that evening, Sophie hugged me from behind. Long day, she asked. Yeah. She rested her chin on my shoulder. We'll be okay. Her words echoed in my head. We'll be okay. I stared straight ahead. I realized something cold and sharp. She wasn't just cheating. She was living 2 lives without blinking. And I was the only one who didn't know. I felt my chest tighten. Daniel said not to let it destroy me. But as I stood there, feeling her arms around me, I understood the truth. I was already breaking. I stopped waiting for the right moment. There was no right moment for betrayal. I texted Ryan, come over tonight. We need to talk. He replied fast. Sounds serious. I'll be there. I looked at Sophie. Ryan's coming. She smiled. Movie night. Something like that. My hands felt steady, but inside I was shaking. When Ryan walked in, he clapped his hands together. Why does this feel dramatic? I said. Sophie laughed nervously. Okay, what's going on? I picked up the remote. I just want to clear something up. Ryan leaned back. Clear what up? I pressed play. The TV showed the parking lot. Street light. My car. Sophie frowned. What is this? Just watch. The door opened on screen. Sophie stepped out. Ryan followed. Silence filled the room. I didn't look at them. I watched the screen. Ryan's hand moved to her waist. His lips touched hers. The room felt smaller. Sophie's breath hitched. Ethan, Ryan whispered, it's not what you think. I turned to him slowly. Then explain what I'm seeing. He ran a hand through his hair. It was a mistake. A mistake. I repeated. That looks planned. Sophie's face turned pale. I can explain. Good, I snapped. Because I'd love to hear it. Ryan stood up. We were drunk. You don't look drunk in that video. It just happened, he insisted. I grabbed the remote and paused the screen on their kiss. Does this look like just happened to you? I asked. Sophie started crying. Please lower your voice. Lower my voice? I laughed bitterly. You're worried about my tone? Ryan stepped closer. Calm down, man. I stepped back. Don't come near me. It meant nothing, he said. It meant nothing. I repeated. You kissed my girlfriend. Sophie wiped her tears. It was one night. I stared at her. You want to stick with that? She hesitated. I pressed play again. Different night. Same spot. Same kiss. Ryan muttered. Ethan. Shut up. Another clip. And another. Multiple nights. Multiple lies. The silence grew heavy. Sophie covered her mouth. I didn't think you'd find out. That sentence sliced through me. So the problem isn't what you did, I said quietly. The problem is that I found out. That's not what I meant, she cried. Ryan looked at the floor. It got complicated. You complicated it, I shot back. It wasn't planned, he said weakly. Then why does it keep happening? I demanded. Neither of them answered. I felt my chest tighten. For years, I said to Sophie. For years, and this is how you end it? She shook her head. I didn't want to end us. You already did. Ryan finally spoke up. It's my fault. I laughed. Oh, now you're noble. He clenched his jaw. I should have stopped it. You should have never started it. Sophie reached for me. Please, let me explain. Explain what? I said, that you were lonely? That I worked too much? You've been distant, she whispered. So that gives you permission? No, she cried. I didn't mean for it to continue. That sentence killed me. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I love you. I didn't mean for it to continue. So, you meant for it to start? I asked. She broke down completely. I was confused. Ryan added, we both were. I stared at him. You're my best friend. I know. Brothers don't do this. He didn't respond. I felt anger rise again. How long? Sophie hesitated. How long? I repeated louder. 2 months, she whispered. 2 months. I laughed softly. That's not confusion. That's a relationship. It wasn't serious, Ryan said quickly. Then why hide it? I shot back. Neither of them spoke. The room felt suffocating. I walked to the door and opened it. Get out. Ryan blinked. Ethan, get out. He looked at Sophie, then back at me. We can fix this. There's no we anymore. He stepped toward me like he wanted to say something else. I grabbed his collar and pushed him toward the door. Don't touch me, he warned. Don't ever come near my home again, I said. He walked out without another word. I closed the door hard. Silence. Sophie was still standing in the living room, crying. Please, she whispered. Don't end us. I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I planned to marry. The woman who kissed him under a streetlight. Why? I asked quietly. She shook her head. I don't know. That's not good enough. I love you, she said desperately. Do you? I asked. Yes. Because love doesn't look like that. She stepped closer. We could go to therapy. We can start over. Start over? I echoed. With what? Trust. She reached for my hand. I pulled it away. I forgive you, I said slowly. But I can't stay. Her eyes widened. You're throwing away 4 years. You threw them away first. She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. Please, she begged. Don't do this. I walked to the bedroom and opened the closet. What are you doing? She cried. Packing your things. She stood up. You can't just kick me out. I can, I replied calmly. And I am. She grabbed my arm. Ethan, please. I looked at her one last time. You didn't mean for it to continue, I said quietly. But you let it. Tears streamed down her face. I was stupid, she whispered. Yes, I agreed. You were. She tried once more. We can fix this. I shook my head. You already did, I said. And for the first time since I pressed play, I felt something clear inside me. It wasn't relief. It was final. The silence after she left felt louder than our worst fights. I thought the hardest part was over. I was wrong. 2 days later, my phone buzzed nonstop. Bro, what happened? Did you really throw Sophie out? Ryan said you lost it. I stared at the messages. Lost it? I called one of our mutual friends, Jason. What did Ryan tell you? I asked. He hesitated. Man, he said you've been controlling. That you checked her phone. That you were paranoid. I laughed bitterly. Did he also tell you he kissed her? Jason went quiet. He said it was one drunk mistake. One. That's what he said. I ended the call without another word. By the end of the week, 3 friends stopped replying to me. Invitations disappeared. Group chats went silent. I sat alone in my apartment and muttered, so this is how it works. Sophie never defended me. She didn't confirm Ryan's lies, but she didn't deny them either. Her silence felt like agreement. My phone rang again. Sophie. I let it ring. It rang again. I declined it. Then a text appeared. Can we talk? I didn't reply. Another message. Please. I locked my phone and threw it on the couch. That evening, Lily came over without warning. She looked around the apartment. It feels empty. It is. She crossed her arms. I heard things. From who? People talk. And what are they saying? That you were jealous. That you pushed her away. I scoffed. Of course. She stepped closer. Tell me the truth. I found proof, I said quietly. Multiple nights. Not one mistake. Her eyes widened. Ryan. Yes. She clenched her fists. I always thought he smiled too easily. I trusted him. You loved her. Yeah. She hugged me tightly. You didn't deserve that. I swallowed hard. It feels like I lost everything. You didn't lose everything, she said firmly. You lost 2 liars. I almost smiled. Later that week, I received a message from an unknown number. Meet me. It's about Ryan. I hesitated before replying. Who is this? Mark Davis. I recognized the name. Ryan's older cousin. We met at a quiet bar. He studied me carefully. You look worse than I expected. Thanks. I'm not here to insult you, he said. I'm here because you deserve to know something. Know what? He leaned forward. Ryan has done this before. I stared at him. Done what? Dated his friends' girlfriends. Twice. My chest tightened. You're lying. I wish I was. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm tired of cleaning up after him. I laughed hollowly. So I'm just another story? You're not the first. Anger burned inside me. Did Sophie know? I don't think so, he replied. But Ryan enjoys the chase. He likes winning. Winning. That's how he sees it. I clenched my jaw. He called me his brother. Mark shook his head. He calls everyone that. I felt stupid, angry, used. Why didn't you warn me before? I asked. Would you have believed me? I didn't answer. He sighed. You can expose him if you want. I'll back you up. I thought about it. I imagined sending the clips to everyone. clearing my name, destroying his. Instead, I said no. Mark looked surprised. No, I don't want revenge. You sure? I'm sure. He studied me. Then what do you want? I want peace. He nodded slowly. That's harder. Yeah. Well, I got home. Sophie had called 6 times. Another message appeared. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't reply. My phone buzzed again. Please, Ethan, just talk to me. I turned it off. The next day at work, Daniel noticed I was quieter than usual. Still drowning, he asked. Something like that. He sat on the edge of my desk. You look like you're carrying bricks. I lost friends. Then they weren't friends. Feels like I'm the villain. Are you? No. Then stop acting like one. I looked at him. Ryan's spreading lies. Let him, Daniel said calmly. That's easy for you to say. No, it's not. But you can't control his mouth. You can control your direction. My direction? He nodded. Use this pain. Don't waste it. I stayed quiet. He continued. You can sit here and replay it forever. Or you can build something better. Like what? A stronger version of you. His words stayed with me all day. That night, I stood in front of the mirror and looked at myself. You look tired, I muttered. But I also looked awake. I picked up my phone and deleted Sophie's messages without reading the last one. I blocked Ryan's number. I texted Lily. I'm okay. She replied instantly. Proud of you. I sat on the couch and took a deep breath. I won't chase revenge, I said out loud. Because revenge would tie me to them. Instead, I would detach. I would work harder. Train harder. Think clearer. Ryan could keep the rumors. Sophie could keep the regret. I would keep moving. For the first time since everything exploded, I felt a small shift inside me. Not happiness. Not relief. Just direction. I wasn't going to let them define me. I was going to define myself. But deep down, I knew something else. Karma wasn't done yet. 3 months passed before karma knocked. I was at the gym when my phone buzzed. It was Lily. Have you heard? She asked as soon as I answered. Heard what? About Ryan and Sophie. I wiped sweat from my face. No. He cheated on her. I stayed silent. With someone from his office, she added. Apparently, it's been going on for weeks. I let out a slow breath. Are you sure? Yes. It's everywhere. I leaned against the wall. Wow. That's all you're going to say? What else is there to say? You don't sound angry. I'm not. And that surprised me. That evening, there was a knock on my door. I opened it. Sophie stood there. Her eyes were red. Her hair messy. She looked smaller somehow. Ethan, she whispered. What do you want? He lied to me, she said, voice shaking. I stared at her. You're surprised? She flinched. Please don't. Don't what? Point out the obvious. Tears rolled down her cheeks. He said it was just work. Late meetings. I believed him. I crossed my arms. Sound familiar? She wiped her face. I deserve that. Yes, I said calmly. She looked up at me. Can I come in? I hesitated, then stepped aside. She walked into the apartment slowly, like she didn't recognize it anymore. He cheated on me, she repeated. With someone from his office, I replied. She nodded. You knew. I guessed. She sat down. He told me I was paranoid. I almost laughed. That word again. She looked at me. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't respond immediately. I left someone who loved me, she continued. For someone who treated it like a game. My chest felt steady. No fire. No shaking. I warned you, I said quietly. I know. You saw what he was capable of. I thought I was different. You weren't. She covered her face with her hands. I was stupid. Yes. She looked at me through her fingers. Do you hate me? I thought about it. No. She blinked. You don't. I don't have the energy for hate. She swallowed. Then what do you feel? Peace, I said. Her expression shifted. Peace. I already went through the worst part. She stared at me like she didn't know who I was anymore. I thought I'd feel satisfied, I admitted. But I don't. You don't feel anything? I feel calm. She broke down again. I ruined us. Yes, I said softly. I keep thinking about that night, she whispered. When you played the video. So do I. She looked at me. You didn't deserve that. I know. Ryan said you were controlling. I didn't defend you. I know. I was selfish. Yes. She stood up and stepped closer. Can we try again? My heart jumped at those words. Try again. For a second, I saw us cooking dinner, laughing, planning a future. Then I saw the CCTV screen. Streetlight. Kiss. Routine. I don't know how, I said honestly. We can rebuild, she insisted. Therapy. Time. I'll prove it to you. You already proved something, I replied. She grabbed my hand. Please. I looked down at our hands. My heart remembered love. My mind remembered footage. You didn't just cheat, I said quietly. You destroyed trust. She squeezed my fingers tighter. I can fix it. Trust isn't glue, I replied. It doesn't stick the same way. She started crying again. I was confused. I was insecure. I thought you were pulling away. So you ran toward him? Yes. And now he ran from you. She closed her eyes. I deserve that. You do. She looked up at me, desperate. But don't let my mistake be the end of us. It wasn't one mistake, I reminded her. She had no answer. I took a deep breath. I forgive you, I said. Her eyes widened. You do? Yes. Hope flickered across her face. But I can't choose you again. The hope shattered. Why? She whispered. Because every time I look at you, I'll see that screen. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. That's not love, I replied. That's punishment. She shook her head. We were good together. We were, I agreed. So why give up? I'm not giving up, I said calmly. I'm moving forward. She stepped back like I had pushed her. You're really done? She asked. Yes. She looked around the apartment. I thought losing Ryan would break me. And it didn't, she admitted. This does. I swallowed, but my voice stayed steady. I already broke once. Silence stretched between us. I thought karma would hurt him more, she said quietly. It probably will, I replied. Eventually. And me? It already has. She nodded slowly. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know. She walked toward the door, then stopped. Do you ever think about what we could have been? Sometimes I admit it, and I'm grateful I found out before it was too late. Tears rolled down her face again. She opened the door. I hope you're happy, she said. I will be. She left without another word. I closed the door gently. I didn't collapse. I didn't cry. I stood there breathing evenly. For the first time since I pressed play, I felt in control. Not because she came back, not because Ryan failed, but because I chose myself. That was the real shift. Karma knocked. I answered, and I didn't flinch. I didn't wake up strong. I decided to become strong. The first thing I did was book therapy. Sitting in that office felt strange. I crossed my arms and said, I'm not here because I'm weak. My therapist smiled gently. Why are you here? Because I don't want this to define me. Then let's understand it. I exhaled. I trusted two people. They broke that trust. And what did that break inside you? She asked. My confidence, I admitted. My sense of judgment. She nodded. We'll rebuild that. Week after week, I talked. I keep replaying the footage, I told her once. What do you feel when you watch it? She asked. Less pain now, I said. More clarity. That's growth. I started working harder too. Daniel noticed first. You're different, he said one morning. Better or worse? Sharper, he replied. Focused. I have energy to burn. Burn it into something useful. I did. I stayed late. I volunteered for projects. I stopped complaining. 3 months later, my manager called me into his office. You've stepped up, he said. I just did my job. You did more than that. We're promoting you. I blinked. Seriously? You earned it. I walked out feeling something new. Pride. That evening, Lily hugged me. See? You didn't fall apart. I almost did. But you didn't. I chose not to. A few weeks later, I met Ava Thompson. It happened at a bookstore. She reached for the same novel I was holding. Sorry, she said, smiling. You can take it. She laughed softly. We can both read it. I hesitated before asking, coffee? She tilted her head. That depends. Are you honest? I'm trying to be. Try? I learned the hard way. She studied me carefully. Then yes. Coffee. On our first date, she asked directly, what happened in your last relationship? I paused. I was betrayed. She didn't look shocked. Did you heal? I'm healing. Good, she said. I don't compete with ghosts. I don't want ghosts either. I took things slow with her. When she asked, are you sure you're ready? I answered honestly. I won't promise forever, I said, but I can promise truth. That's enough, she replied. One evening, my phone rang. Sophie. I stared at the screen. Ava noticed. You don't have to answer. I want to. I stepped outside and picked up. Hello, I said. Her voice sounded tired. Ryan left. I heard. He moved cities, she whispered. Blocked me everywhere. I stayed silent. I lost everything, she said. I leaned against the wall. So did I. She sniffed. But you're okay. I rebuilt. Ow! I stopped chasing people who didn't choose me. She was quiet. I thought losing you was my biggest mistake, she said. Now I see it clearly. Clarity hurts, I replied. Do you ever miss me? She asked softly. Sometimes, I admitted. And I miss who I was with you. That's cruel, she whispered. It's honest. She let out a shaky breath. I thought you'd still be angry. I'm not. Then what are you? Free. The word felt real. I wish I could go back, she said. I don't, I replied gently. Silence stretched between us. I'm sorry, she said. I know. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Sophie. I ended the call and stood there for a moment. Ava stepped closer. You okay? Yes. You look calm. I am. She touched my arm. Then come back inside. I followed her in. Later that night, I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm not broken, I said quietly. I remembered punching that wall. I remembered shaking while watching that screen. Now my hands were steady. I had faced betrayal. I had faced loneliness. I had faced myself, and I didn't collapse. When Ava texted me, I appreciate how honest you are, I smiled. Honesty used to feel risky. Now it felt powerful. I lay down and stared at the ceiling. I survived, I whispered, but it was more than survival. I had grown. I wasn't the man who pressed play in fear. I was the man who faced the truth and didn't run. I closed my eyes, feeling something solid inside me. I wasn't perfect. I wasn't healed completely, but I was stronger. And for the first time in a long time, that was enough. 1 year later, I sat alone on my couch with my laptop open. The file was still there. I hovered over it for a moment. Why are you doing this? I muttered to myself. Because I needed to know something. I pressed play. The parking lot appeared on the screen. Street light. My car. The same quiet night. The door opened. Sophie stepped out. Ryan followed. I watched without flinching. I watched his hand reach for her waist. I watched her lean in. I watched the kiss. A year ago, that clip shattered me. Now, I felt something different. Not anger. Not jealousy. Clarity. I was blind, I said softly. But I wasn't blind anymore. I paused the video and leaned back. If I never saw this, I whispered, I would have proposed. I imagined it for a second. Ring. Smile. Wedding. A life built on something fake. That recording didn't ruin me, I said out loud. It exposed the truth. My phone buzzed. It was Lily. I answered immediately. Hey, what are you doing? She asked. Watching something important. Important or painful? Neither. She laughed lightly. That's new. I rewatched the footage. She went quiet. Why? To see if it still hurt. And it doesn't. That's good. It's more than good, I said. It's freeing. She exhaled slowly. I'm proud of you. I didn't think I'd ever say this, I continued. But that video ruined my relationship, but it saved my life. She didn't hesitate. It did. I would have married her. I know. I would have trusted Ryan forever. I know. I would have ignored every red flag. But you didn't. I stared at the frozen frame on my screen. No, I said. I didn't. Do you regret anything? Lily asked. I thought carefully. I regret trusting blindly, I replied. But I don't regret knowing. That's growth. I guess it is. We talked for a few more minutes before hanging up. After the call, I closed the laptop but didn't delete the file. Not yet. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me open the message. I wish I could undo it. Sophie. I stared at the screen for a long moment. Part of me expected my chest to tighten. It didn't. Instead, I felt distance. I typed nothing. I didn't ask how she was. I didn't offer comfort. I didn't revisit the past. I read the message one more time. I wish I could undo it. I whispered, so do I. But not because I wanted her back. Because I wish she had chosen better. For herself. For me. For us. I placed the phone down. A year ago, I would have responded instantly. A year ago, I would have tried to fix something already broken. Now, I simply held the silence. After a minute, I picked up the phone again. I deleted the message. Then I blocked the number. Not out of anger. Out of closure. I walked to the window and looked at the city lights. Ava texted me while I stood there. Dinner tomorrow? I smiled. Yes, I replied. I set the phone down and took a deep breath. There was no weight in my chest. No resentment. No revenge. Just peace. I thought about the man I used to be. The one who trusted without question. The one who punched walls instead of facing reality. The one who thought love alone was enough. I was naive, I admitted quietly. But I wasn't naive anymore. The truth hurt. It embarrassed me. It isolated me. It forced me to rebuild from scratch. But it also protected me from a lifetime of lies. I walked back to the couch and picked up the laptop again. This time, I deleted the video file. Not because I was afraid of it, but because I no longer needed it. The lesson was already inside me. I sat back and closed my eyes. Sometimes the truth destroys you, I murmured. I paused and let the silence settle. Before it sets you free, the words felt steady, real, final. I opened my eyes and looked around my apartment. It no longer felt empty. It felt mine. I didn't win through revenge. I didn't destroy anyone. I didn't expose them publicly. I simply walked away and built something stronger. The recording didn't break my life. It redirected it. And for the first time, I was grateful for what I saw, because losing them was painful. But losing myself would have been worse. I stood up, turned off the lights, and headed to bed. No anger, no regret, just peace. And that was enough.